Hi YouTube friends, it's Elizabeth J with an S, and today I am going to be talking to you about one of my bullet journals. I do 3 bullet journals and I post videos about them monthly. I have an Archer and Olive blackout journal that I use for my monthly doodle challenge. I have my Archer and Olive bullet journal which I use for my projects, personal life, events, tasks, like a typical planner bullet journal. And I have my citrus book bindery bullet journal that I use for my daily devotional recording, I guess. Excuse me. So today I am going to be focusing on my devotional bullet journal. And I'm going to take a look at what I've done. Just very briefly, this is going to be a short video because I haven't really done anything new, but for those of you who may be new to my channel, just for you to see how I'm using the bullet journal. So I talked about in my last bullet journal about the binding, and that I thought I was going to be able to put a plastic cover on it, silicone cover that would keep it tight, but the one that I got was actually not the right size. So unfortunately that won't be able to work for me, and I probably won't be able to get Mod Podge, which is what they've been telling people on the website to do. So for those of you who don't know what's happening with these heavier, thick bullet journals with the open spine, I think they're talking about these eyelets causing some pull on the string, and so then what happens is you end up getting this type of situation happening where the strings are getting loose. And I know I've seen on Facebook pages where some actually have ripped. I don't actually carry this around with me. I only use it once a day just to do my devotion. So I've been trying to be super careful, and that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, they've stopped doing this type of open spine with these thick chunky ones, and they will actually fix it for you if you're able to return it to them. Unfortunately, I'm not. I live in East Africa, so this bullet journal traveled a long way to get to me. It went from the UK to my family in the US and then finally to me. So I have no way of returning it to them for them to fix it and then return it to me. So anyway, we will just manage the way that things are. So this was my February setup. I showed that in my previous video. If you want to check that out, you can. I'll put a link somewhere so you can click on it. But I just wanted to show my March setup. Well, before I do that, let's just talk about what happened during the month of February. So during the month of February, I traveled, and I did not carry the bullet journal with me. I traveled outside of Nairobi. I went up country to visit my Kenyan mom, and she lives in the rural village area of Western Kenya. And I just knew I wasn't going to have, just the way life is there, I was not going to have time to do this. So that's why there's a few pages missing, few things not filled in. But basically the main thing for the month was this reflection that I in fact actually did today. So in my reflection, I go back and look at these pages that I have called Soul Dump, and basically it's just me having free conversation with the Lord, and I ask myself 5 questions after I go back and read through all of these sort of mini daily reflections. I kind of look at a monthly reflection. So I ask myself, what did I learn last month? Who or what is encouraging? What is challenging me? How am I growing? And what do I need to focus on? So for me, I learned that the Holy Spirit doesn't communicate with me the way he does with everybody else. In fact, he communicates with people individually because him being God, he has a personal relationship with you. And so we're not all the same. And because I was trying to sort of, I don't want to say force, but create a situation to see how the Holy Spirit could communicate with me in a way that, how do I put this? In a way that is not normal for me. And it wasn't really working. And I realized, you know what? The Holy Spirit is already speaking to me. And I don't have to change what I do or how I communicate with him. He's going to still communicate with me. So that's what I learned. Who or what is encouraging. So it's just kind of like about my relationship with my housemate and just communicating better. Her communicating better with me. Me being an American, we're just very open and we just say how we feel. And the sun has come, so the lighting has changed. Sorry about that. And so Kenyans don't do that very well. They don't actually open up and just freely say what they feel at the moment of impact. But, after 8 or so years, she's getting better with that, so that's really good. What is challenging me? Perhaps you know that this coronavirus thing is in the news, of course, and of course we shouldn't be fearful, but I do have control issues, obviously, 3 bullet journals. And so, there are things that I can't control. And so I think that this week has been slightly out of control for me, and I don't like how that makes me feel. Just a lot of things up in the air, decisions to be made, like what's going to happen as far as school, what's going to happen as far as, teaching from home, which is probably the plan if schools close. How do we prepare at home, just, having the necessities without going into full-on panic mode and like buying the whole entire shop. So that is what I'm dealing with. How am I growing? Kind of in line with that control thing. Just a lot of introspection, especially with the, daily introspection. Like just being honest with myself, and that lets me kind of really be honest with God, which of course he knows it all anyway. So, you can't really pretend, even though we do try to sometimes. And then the final question, what do I need to focus on? Going back to what is challenging me, just keep focusing on the fact that he's in control. I need to trust him and, be wise, but trust him. So that was my reflection for the month of February. Here's March setup. The quote I picked was from Charles H. Spurgeon. You will never glory in God till first of all God has killed your glorifying in yourself. Which kind of is making me think, like, is this YouTube channel glorifying me or glorifying him? Hopefully him, in a small way. Because honestly, I'm talking about him on it, so hopefully that is glorifying him. Anyway, so here's my setup, my basic setup. I have my daily little square. So basically what I use is a daily devotional, which is called A Year with Aslan, which I discovered doesn't have a leap year day. I was so disappointed. I even went and put a review on Goodreads or Good Books or whatever that website is. And yeah, so I did not have a thing for Saturday the 29th. Anyway, I was disappointed, but life moves on. Right, so so basically what happens is so C.S. Lewis has created this devotional, and he puts an excerpt from one of the 7 books, and you read the excerpt, and then he has some thought-provoking questions, which you can really go quite deep with if you want to. So I answer the question here in this bigger space, and then I kind of just meditate on a verse that comes to mind. If nothing comes to mind, maybe I'll do a little concordance search and see what kind of reflects how I responded to the questions. And so then I put the verse in this little section here. And then at the end of the day, I go back and put a little mood stamp of how I'm feeling. Was it okay? Was it a good day? Was it a great day? Was I not feeling well? All of that. So I have different emoji type stamps that I just stamp in there so I can kind of see that. And that's my basic setup for the dailies. Then I have some prayer sections. So I have a worship section, and the way I do that, let me just flip back to the last one I did. I just pick an aspect of God. So this last week I did the fact that he's perfect, and then each day of the week I just reflect on something different about that particular attribute of God. So that's how I do that. So there's the days of the week. And then I have a Thanksgiving box. So usually each day I just give thanks for something maybe that happened the day before, or something that's going on in my life, or whatever the case might be. So focusing on being thankful. And then I'm really sorry about the lighting with the window and all of that, but okay, can't control the sun. And then I have a little section where I'm praying for like bigger picture type things. Work, Kenya, USA, and the world kind of combined together. And then I have my student of the day. So each day of the school week, I pick one student out of the hundreds that I interact with on a weekly basis and just pray for something particular about that student. And then I have my family and friends, different things that come up during the week that I can pray for. And then I have what I call my soul dump, and this is now just after I've done everything for my devotional, something that maybe impacted me. I'll just kind of just write my thoughts, kind of just open conversation with the Lord. And that is my basic devotional setup. And so I've set up, basically I just set up the whole month of March. All the weeks are exactly the same. And my reflection is there for the end of the month, the same 5 questions. I'll go back and repeat. I'm finding the system works for me. It's something that I've tailored to get to this point. So until it needs to change, this is basically how it's going to go. So please feel free to use any of, this is obviously not copyright protected or anything like that. Please feel free to use any of my ideas. If you do a devotional kind of response journal, I would love to hear what you do. Please put that in the comments. If you have a YouTube channel that highlights your devotional bullet journal, I also would love to see what you do. So please put your link in the comments as well. Also, I would love if you subscribed to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you around again in another month. Have a great day.